The words hit me like a sucker punch to the gut, the kind that folds you in half and leaves you gasping for air that won't come. I was standing in our kitchen, the one we'd renovated last year with granite countertops that gleamed under the pendant lights, when Sarah turned from the sink, her hands dripping with soapy water, and said it. From now on, I decide when we spend time together. Stop bothering me. Her voice was flat, emotionless, like she was reading from a grocery list. But her eyes, those sharp blue eyes I'd fallen for a decade ago, held a glint of something colder, something final. I felt my face flush hot with humiliation, my chest tightening as if an invisible hand was squeezing my heart. The coffee mug in my hand slipped, shattering on the tile floor in a spray of ceramic shards and lukewarm caffeine. The sound echoed like a gunshot in the silence that followed. I stood there, frozen, the bitter scent of spilled coffee mixing with the lemon dish soap she'd been using. My mind raced, denial flooding in first. This couldn't be real. Sarah, my Sarah, the woman who'd laughed with me through late-night movies and whispered promises in the dark. The one who'd held my hand through my father's funeral. Her grip steady when mine trembled. No, this was a bad day, a mood swing. But as she wiped her hands on a dish towel, not even glancing at the mess I'd made, I saw it, the detachment. It was like looking at a stranger wearing my wife's skin. What do you mean? I stammered, my voice cracking like a teenager's. Humiliation burned in my throat. I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but the words stuck, tangled in the web of shock. She sighed, that exasperated huff she'd perfected over the years, and leaned against the counter. Exactly what I said, Mark. I'm tired of you hovering, always wanting to talk or go out or whatever. I need space. A lot of it. So, yeah, I'll let you know when I'm in the mood for company. She said it casually, like she was discussing weekend plans, but there was an undercurrent of disdain that sliced through me. Her phone buzzed on the counter, and she glanced at it, a faint smile tugging at her lips before she silenced it. That smile, it wasn't for me. Never was anymore. I nodded dumbly, bending to pick up the mug pieces, the sharp edges pricking my fingers. Blood welled up in tiny beads, but I barely felt it. Heartbreak crashed over me like a wave, pulling me under. How had we gotten here? 10 years of marriage, 2 kids. Lily 8 with her mother's curls and Ben 5 who idolized me, and now this? Resentment bubbled up, hot and acidic. I'd given everything. The long hours at the firm to pay for this house, the soccer games I coached, the vacations I planned. And for what? To be dismissed like an annoying pet. That night I lay in our bed, though it felt like enemy territory now, staring at the ceiling fan whirring lazily above. Sarah had retreated to the guest room, claiming she needed uninterrupted sleep. The house was quiet, save for the distant hum of traffic outside our suburban window. My mind churned with fantasies, storming into her room, demanding to know if there was someone else. Or packing my bags and leaving, watching her face crumple in regret. But doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? Maybe she was stressed from her job at the marketing agency, the one where she traveled more these days. Yeah, that was it. Denial wrapped around me like a blanket, smothering the anger for a moment. But as days turned to weeks, the truth clawed its way out. I stopped bothering her as instructed. No more good morning texts, no invitations to dinner. I cooked for the kids, helped with homework, tucked them in with stories of dragons and heroes. Sarah came and went like a ghost, her schedule erratic. She'd breeze in late, smelling faintly of wine and cologne, not mine. I'd catch her on her phone, typing furiously, her face illuminated by the screen in the dim living room. Work, she'd mutter if I dared ask, her tone laced with irritation. One evening, as rain pattered against the windows, turning the world outside into a blurry watercolor, I found myself alone in the study. The kids were asleep, Sarah out with colleagues. I poured a scotch, the amber liquid burning a path down my throat, and let the resentment fester. Humiliation gnawed at me. How many of our friends knew? Did they pity me, the devoted husband reduced to a roommate? Obsession took root then, a dark seed sprouting in my chest. I needed to know. Why? Ooh. I started small, subtle. Checking her phone bill online. Extra data usage, late-night calls to a number I didn't recognize. Then, her laptop left open one afternoon. Emails from Alex, innocuous at first. Missed you today. Escalating to can't wait for our weekend getaway. My hands shook as I read them, the screen blurring through hot tears. Alex. Her boss. A co-worker. Heartbreak twisted into fury, a red-hot poker in my gut. She'd been planning trips, lying about conferences. Our anniversary last month, she'd worked late. I pictured them, tangled in hotel sheets, laughing at my ignorance. Guilt flickered briefly. Invading her privacy felt wrong, a betrayal of my own. But resentment drowned it out. She'd betrayed me first, shattered our vows with casual cruelty. That night, as thunder rumbled outside, I sat in the dark, plotting. Not violence. No, I wasn't that man. But revenge. Oh yes. Cold, calculated, the kind that would make her feel the isolation she'd imposed on me. I'd mirror her detachment, but weaponize it. Withdraw financially, emotionally. Let her world crumble while I rebuilt mine. Fantasies spun, exposing her affair to her boss, or worse, to our families. But doubt lingered. What about the kids? Moral conflict tore at me. Revenge might poison everything, turn me into the villain. Yet, as I sipped my scotch, the resolve hardened. She'd decided the rules. Now I'd play by them my way. The next morning, over breakfast, the kitchen filled with the sizzle of bacon and the chatter of cartoons from the living room, I tested the waters. Sarah poured coffee, her hair tousled, looking almost vulnerable. "Morning," I said neutrally, sliding a plate her way. She glanced up, surprised. "Oh, thanks." A pause, then, "You seem different." I shrugged, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. "Just following your lead. Giving you space." Inside, anger simmered, but I kept it leashed. Suspense built in the air between us, unspoken. She nodded, but I saw the flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Let her wonder. Weeks blurred into a routine of calculated indifference. I focused on work, landing a promotion that meant longer hours, and more money in my separate account, one she'd never known about. The kids noticed the chill. Lily asked why Mommy and Daddy didn't hug anymore. I'd deflect with jokes, but guilt gnawed deeper. Was this hurting them more? Inner turmoil raged. Part of me wanted to confront her, scream the truth. But no. Direct confrontation was too merciful. I needed her to unravel slowly, to feel the void she'd created. One rainy afternoon, as I worked from home, the doorbell rang. A delivery. Flowers addressed to Sarah. From Alex. "Thinking of you," the card read. Fury exploded, but I tamped it down. Instead, I photographed it, tucking the evidence away. Obsession grew. I hired a private investigator discreetly, using cash from my account. The report came a week later. Photos of Sarah and Alex at a cozy bistro, hands intertwined. Hotel check-ins. My stomach churned, humiliation mixing with cold resolve. He was married too, with kids. Perfect. Planning began in earnest. I'd expose them, but not crudely. Subtle hints. Anonymous emails to Alex's wife, timed perfectly. Or sabotage her career. Feed tips to her rivals. Moral grayness settled over me. Was I becoming a monster? Doubt whispered yes, but resentment shouted louder. She'd humiliated me, broken our family. Justice demanded balance. Tension mounted as I watched her. She grew irritable, snapping at the kids, glancing at me with suspicion. "What's with you?" she asked one night as we passed in the hallway, the air thick with unspoken accusations. "Nothing," I replied calmly, my heart pounding. "Just respecting your boundaries." Inside, fantasies of her downfall played like a movie reel. The turning point came on a crisp autumn evening, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones as I pulled into the driveway. The house lights glowed warmly, a facade of normalcy. Inside, Sarah was packing a suitcase in our bedroom, the zipper's rasp cutting through the quiet. "Business trip," she said without looking up, her voice clipped. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, feigning nonchalance. With Alex. The words slipped out, laced with suppressed rage. She froze, her back stiffening. The room smelled of her perfume, cloying and familiar, now tainted. She turned slowly, face paling. What did you say? You heard me. My voice was steady, but inside a storm raged, heartbreak clashing with triumph. I'd waited for this, rehearsed it in my mind during sleepless nights. How? She trailed off, eyes darting to her phone on the nightstand. Does it matter? I stepped closer, the carpet muffling my footsteps. I've known for months. The emails, the calls, the flowers. Humiliation surged anew, but I channeled it into cold precision. You wanted space. You've got it. Permanently. Her face crumpled, a mix of guilt and defiance. Mark, it's not what you think. Alex and I. It's complicated. You've been so distant lately. Distant. I laughed, a bitter bark that echoed off the walls. You told me to stop bothering you. Declared it like a queen on her throne. Anger boiled over, my fists clenching. I built this life for us, and you threw it away for some office fling? Tears welled in her eyes, but I saw the manipulation, the way she tilted her head, playing the victim. I was unhappy. You never listened, always working. Alex makes me feel alive. The words stabbed deep, resentment twisting the knife. Unhappy. You could have talked. Instead you lied, humiliated me. Obsession flared. I'd pored over the PI's photos, memorizing their smiles. Now resolve solidified. But fine. You decide everything. Decide this, I'm done. She reached for me, her hand trembling. Please, the kids. Don't. I pulled away, guilt flickering. The kids were at my sister's for the weekend. Planned, of course. You don't get to use them now. What followed was a blur of accusations, her voice rising in desperation. You're overreacting. It's just an affair. People have them. Believable in its rawness, her words revealed her selfishness. No true remorse. I left her there, suitcase half-packed, and drove into the night. Rain slicked the roads, headlights blurring like tears. Inner conflict tore at me. Was revenge worth the fallout? But as I gripped the wheel, knuckles white, I knew it was. She'd feel the isolation, the loss. The plan unfolded meticulously. First, the anonymous email to Alex's wife. Photos attached, no trace back to me. I sent it from a burner account at a coffee shop, the aroma of espresso grounding me amid the adrenaline. Then, a tip to Sarah's HR. Subtle evidence of embezzlement, fabricated but convincing. I'd accessed her work emails, twisted receipts. Morally gray. Absolutely. But poetic justice demanded it. Suspense built as I waited. Days later, Sarah came home frantic, her makeup smudged from crying. Mark, something's wrong at work. Accusations. I didn't do it. She paced the living room, the floorboards creaking under her heels. I sat on the couch, feigning concern. What kind? Missing funds. And Alex? His wife knows. Her voice broke, guilt etching lines on her face. She confronted him. It's over. Inside, cold satisfaction bloomed, but I masked it. Karma, maybe. Doubt nagged, was this too far? The kids would suffer if she lost her job. She collapsed beside me, sobbing. Help me. Please. For a moment, heartbreak softened me. This was the woman I'd loved. Flawed but human. Her motivations clearer now. Boredom, thrill-seeking, escaping routine. Layered, not evil. But resentment won. You wanted to decide everything. Decide how to fix it. She stared, realization dawning. You did this. I didn't deny it, standing instead. You stopped bothering with me. So I stopped bothering with you. The twist came that night. As I lay in bed, phone buzzing, a text from the PI. New intel. Alex isn't just her lover. He's her partner in fraud. Real embezzlement. She's been siphoning company funds for months. Shock jolted me. Not fabricated, real. My tip had uncovered truth. Obsession shifted to horror. I'd set off a chain reaction, but she was guilty. Poetic justice, unintended. The next day, police arrived. Sarah in cuffs, protesting innocence. The kids, home now, watched wide-eyed. Guilt crashed over me. My revenge had escalated beyond control. In the aftermath, as divorce papers loomed and custody battles brewed, I felt the psychological impact. Victory tasted like ash. Her betrayal justified my actions, but the consequences, morally gray, forever haunting. Yet, in the quiet house, now mine, resolve lingered. She'd declared the rules. I'd enforced them. And in the end we both lost.